Happy Death Day to You. This is obviously the sequel to the first movie, Happy Death Day. That was a movie that surprised a lot of people, me in particular. I loved that first film. I think it was a great mix of like slasher, scream meets like Groundhog Day, and I thought it was very, very funny and very well done. Kind of moved into guilty pleasure territory for me because I really, really liked it, but I did like that kind of mix in horror and comedy. Now, this is obviously the sequel that I don't think anyone was expecting, but basically stars Jessica Rothe again as Tree, as well as directed and written by Christopher Landon, who directed the first film, and basically she gets put back in the loop again, and I won't explain why that happens or how that happens or what happens when she's in the loop, but I'll leave it at that. Now let's start off with Jessica Rothe as Tree. She is phenomenal again. She is so charismatic, she's just so fun to watch on screen, and I think that's what really holds these two movies together, is just her, because she's so damn good. And it kind of starts off more based on another character, and I won't tell you who that is because it might go into spoiler territory, but it starts maybe the first 10-15 minutes isn't necessarily focused directly on her, and it kind of worried me for a second, but we got back into Jessica Rothe and she killed it. As well as the supporting cast I liked. Ryan was the guy that said "fine vagina," the roommates, the roommate of the love interest. He was a bigger role in this movie. He was fine. Danielle, like the head of the house that Tree stays at, she was fun. I think a bigger role in this film. And of course, Carter, the love interest, was great. Again, I love that character. He's great. He's just the nicest guy, helping everyone out. He's a killer. Now, of course, this movie is very, very funny. I was pissing myself laughing for a lot of scenes, and I had a great time with this film. I was just like, yo, this is what I wanted from the sequel. I didn't necessarily know they were going to do the sequel, but they went in with the sequel and made it very, very funny. Now, saying that, by banking it very, very funny, it wasn't really a horror, which isn't necessarily negative. It just doesn't necessarily... It's not necessarily what you think is going to be this film, because the first one is Happy Death Day. It is a bit funny, but this one commits to being a comedy, kind of interplays science a bit more with the time loop stuff. But it's not really a horror. You never really got that tone that you did in the first film. It was just like, people happen to be dying, which I think is fine, but it would have been cool to see a little bit more horror in there. But they committed to being this over-the-top comedy with a bit of sci-fi, like Back to the Future, time loop stuff in there, and I really did enjoy it. But with that, you do get to see a few different sides. I think it does try to hit you on a more personal level with Tree's character in actually feeling something. She goes through something a bit different that she didn't face in the first film. Again, I won't tell you what that is. But that was a bit nicer to see a bit more of an emotional side of Tree, which was good. And kind of delve into something a bit different they didn't go into the first one. But then it kind of steps away from the whole murder mystery, because it's not even a horror. The murder mystery kind of gets a back seat, because in this one, it isn't as much about solving the murder mystery, but more about solving the science behind the time loop itself. So it kind of takes a back seat in the whole murder mystery part, which again is good because it's a sequel. You can do what you want, and I still enjoyed it a lot, but it could have been a bit more fun if they went into the murder mystery side a little bit, and definitely does go over the top with everything it does in this film. You see that 100 miles away. Just every pretty much moment in this movie is just so over the top with things they do. It definitely just embraces the entire ridiculousness of the film, which is a great thing. It doesn't deliberately try to do something cool and it's like, that was so stupid. No, they know what they're doing with this film, and I think that's the reason why it works. I think you definitely got to be a fan of the first one to enjoy this one. I'm a huge fan of the first one. I'm a huge fan of this one. And there's also a bit of a sidebar here. I'm going to say there is a scene and there's a song playing, Hard Times by Paramore. Please enjoy that scene. That song fits that scene so well. It is a hilarious scene. I love that song. Fit with that scene very, very, very well. And that scene, I'm just going to leave it at that. When you hear that song play, get fucking buckle in, because it's going to be good. I'm going to give Happy Death Day to You a B-. Now, that's the same rating I gave to the first film. I don't know which one's necessarily better. I think the first one probably a bit better made when it comes to, the murder mystery side being a horror, doing something a bit more original. This one is just a very, very, very funny, enjoying, entertaining film. So maybe entertainment levels, I think one still is better. But again, I've only just seen two, and to even say they're pretty close is a good thing. They are definitely neck to neck with this film. If they're going to do three, I'm all for it, because they did two and it worked. why not do 3? Thank you guys for watching my review of this film. Again, I'm a real fan of this short franchise. Hopefully it continues. Maybe not the way they set up at the end of the movie, you'll understand, but I'm down for it. If you haven't seen me before, press the subscribe button, like button, comment, whatever you want to talk about, I am down. But of course, guys, have a good one.